Hey, welcome back. In this video, this is part 3 of the loader attachment repair. In this one, I'm going to be doing the cylinders. I've got to straighten a rod on a cylinder, and we're going to be fixing the bucket bushings and the cross arm on the bracket for the tractor. So hang around and we'll get this done. Hey, fab it all.
Hello. Let's go.
All right, so I got this set up. That's about how much bow I've got to take out of that. About ½ inch of bend in that rod. So how I've got this set up, I put some duct tape just in the die just so I don't hurt that chrome layer. And this is going to be the initial bend. I'm just going to use this block of wood to protect it. And it won't take it out completely, but it'll take a good chunk of it out. And I'll finish the rest of it over on the hydraulic press. But see, the wood makes it so I can't overpress. Didn't do anything. That didn't do anything. Gotta come up with something different. Okay, so here's my fix. Got a piece of aluminum angle here and here. I was gonna cut a small piece, but this should work fine. So, same thing, this will hold me from popping out. But I gotta be very careful I don't over push. But I'm gonna do it this way. If I do it this lengthways, what that does is it gives me more support across there. Took a little bit out, not a lot. Well, I took about half of it out. The problem I'm having is it wants to bend here. So let's put it down here. Let's see if that helps. See, it's straight right here, but it's bent right here. and no, that's okay. All right, let's try this. We're getting somewhere. Pushing about 90 tons. Looks good. There's a lot of flex in there. Pretty close. Okay. Let's do. Let's see. I gotta go cut this down. All right, I had to cut this down because if I just try and bend it on here, what happens is it tries to bend here, but it's straight right there. So I need to get my support right here. And let's move this one in. We'll double check that. Yeah. Okay, let's try that. That board wants to break. Man, that's almost good enough. It's probably good enough. Okay, so I've got all the cylinders put together, and except for this last one. So I still have a little bit of bow, not a lot, but I don't want to push it too much because I might end up cracking the chrome. So I like where it is. It's good enough. The problem I have is I could go and get some new cylinders. The problem I ran into is these are kind of an oddball. What I would have to do is buy a standard, let's see, these are 25-inch closed, 17-inch stroke. So what I'd have to do is get a 26-inch closed and a 18-inch stroke and undo it and machine this down and then make it the right stroke. Otherwise, I could end up with a weird bucket. The bucket won't come all the way up, or it'll tilt down really far. So I'm just glad that straightened out. I was really worried that I'd crack some chrome or something and end up with a mess. So the fact that that worked and it's good enough, we're gonna go with it. So I've got all the new seals. The other thing I ran into is this is the piston that goes on the end of here. The problem I ran into is they just had an O-ring on here, which is not right. For a double acting cylinder. The O-ring is correct, and let me show you how that goes. You have so what you have is you have a washer that goes on here, the O-ring, and then another washer. So what that washer does is instead of just having an O-ring that can float back and forth in that groove, that washer gives it support, so as the fluid is pushing this way, it stays there. As fluid pushes this way, it stays there. So that's how it's supposed to be properly done. The other thing is we did an upgrade. This is the gland that goes, this seals both the rod and the cylinder. We upgraded, originally it was just an O-ring, and we also got a new O-ring in case it didn't work, but this is a gland seal, which is more proper for this type of situation. So it's a cup seal. It gives a little better cleaning and seal on that rod as it's moving through it. And these are a pain in the butt. We have a tool that installs these, and it is a piece of crap. There's a video I watched of someone lamenting that gland seal install tool, and it's nice on big cylinders, but on this small stuff, it's just a nightmare. These are a pain to put in. Okay, that's in. And then a new seal here. Oh no, that goes in here. Okay, there's that one, and then we've got, so we also got a washer for this gland seal, but there's actually not enough room for the O-ring in the washer without machining that out, so, which would be more proper assembly, but for this, it's fine. Since this is just a gland seal, it doesn't move. But the trick is not twisting your O-ring when you put it on. There we go. Okay. I got to put all the parts on first. I need some oil. Go. Okay. Now we can tighten that on. Okay. I had scrubbed everything out after I took everything apart just to make sure everything was clean. There we go. Nice. Okay. Oh yeah. Much better. On the last video, we had to pull this one apart because that rod was bent. We weren't sure. And what was funny is we pulled it apart. We're like, oh, there must be something in that tube. And we're looking at this tube. And I had pulled this bent rod out and set it on the deck of the side loader. And I'm like, oh, something's in that tube. No. Like, oh, the rod's bent. But yeah, now that feels good. So the last thing is tighten these up, put the set screw in, and those 4 cylinders are ready to go. I think I've decided I'm just gonna put it together how it is. Oh, actually, let me take you on the next thing. I'm gonna fix the bushings on that bucket because they are that bad, but I'm not gonna fix any of the other bushings. I'm just gonna fix the bushings on the bucket, fix that one end bar. Actually, I'll do that real quick here next. And then we're just going to put it together. I think that'll be easier. And then see what's going on. Although I do think it's going to have a dip in the bucket. That's why it was so wore on that one side. But for where we are, doing bushings on the whole arm will take a long time. And at this stage, since it's not pulled apart, no reason to get crazy with it. But I am going to do the bucket. Okay, so here's the cross member. You can see it's pretty bad. I'm gonna try and just push this right here on the end. Let's see what it does without bending it the other way. that's better. A little more. That was from pushing that cylinder. Oh yeah, that's good enough. A little bit here because of this, but that's good. Wish I could straighten that. So let me throw that in the vise and see if I can straighten that. It's better. Okay, so I got all my bushings made for this. If you want to see machining of a bushing, I've got lots of videos on that. I didn't want to bore you with all that. The next thing is I'm just going to cut these off right at the weld and pop the piece out, and then I've got a new one. There's a little bit of some bending in these plates. I'm not going to worry about that at this stage. I don't think it's a problem. It looks like it was manufactured that way. So I got my bushings, nothing special with these, just regular carbon steel. And I did also make my new pins. I was short 2 pins. Okay, I got all the bushings cleaned up. They did give me some trouble. There was a lot more penetration into the old bushing than I thought, so I had to V it out. Anyways, I don't know if you know this, but I hate die grinders. When you use them like that, it just sends these little bits everywhere, and I'd be getting slivers out of me for the rest of the day. So anyways, I got them all cleaned up. They're pretty good.
few issues with these plates are a little bent, not a big deal, I mentioned that. So now I just got to weld them in and they should be good. So one thing that's different with these bushings is I put a flange on each one, and what that's meant to do is whenever you have a bushing or something that has a shaft that goes through it, when you weld onto that, it shrinks. So in order to maintain some dimensional stability, if you machine a flange into it, well, it takes more material, you get less shrinkage on your part. So that should help. At least I don't have to deal with any stuck pins or anything, and just maintains that straight. Also gives more area and more support for the bushing itself, transferring that load to the plate itself. Hey, thanks for joining me on this part 3 of the loader arm attachment repair. We got the bushings in and got that cross beam fixed. So the last thing is assembly, and then we'll try it out and see how it does. So hit the like, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.
Awesome. Make that like. Oh yes. Come on in, Patrick. So